Hello!
Hi, everyone. It's mentorship time.
Woo! Welcome to orientation for the Tabletop Mentorship Program. Session 6?
Session 6.
Session 6. Incredible. You all have done a very brave thing by signing up. We're so happy you could be here. This orientation is going to go over what to expect for the program, all the cool stuff that we have for you, all the new cool stuff that you don't even know about yet. We're going to tell you about in just a minute. We've also got some special guests coming up. It's going to be a great time.
It is going to be a great time. So to kick things off, we should introduce ourselves. My name is Grace Kendall. I am a game designer. I'm the designer of Celestial Stories, part of Dyson Inc. And I like making indie music and helping people have opportunities to create things. What about you?
Yeah.
Oh, my pronouns are they, them. Sorry.
My name is Mike Belsel, pronouns he, him. I am also a game designer, as yet unpublished, but getting there.
Hustling.
Hustling, that's for sure. Like a lot of you out there. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. Let's get started. We're gonna throw up a little slideshow here. Awesome.
So welcome officially to Orientation 2021. If anybody wants to shout out in the comments, is this your first time here, your third time here, your first time as a mentor, but your fourth time as a mentee? Shout it out. It's always exciting to see how long people have been part of this program.
Sorry, reading comments. Yeah, so welcome to the program. We started this back in 2019. It was a... we were sort of, we had a lot of time in our hands, and we thought this would be a great way to give back to the community that's given us so much. I know, I wouldn't be where I am today without my mentor, and I wanted to give that opportunity to as many people as possible, and hence the program. We started out with like 37 mentorships our first session. In this session, how many do we have?
148 mentorships.
It's
unreal.
It's unreal. It shouldn't be just the two of us doing this.
It won't be for long.
No, it won't be
Don't
for long. But yeah, it's our sixth session, and we are very glad you are here. Let's head over to the next slide. Go for it.
So we have a very exciting raffle to start things off tonight. While people are still gathering and shouting out how long they've been here, Mike is going to drop a link in the chat that is going to take you to a very simple Google form, and you can enter to win a copy of Jeff Engelstein's new book, Game Production, Prototyping, and Producing Your Board Game. We think this will be really helpful for a lot of you who are at that stage of game creation. This book covers the nuts and bolts of building your game, whether it's the software, the physical tools, the graphic design, the rules writing, all the parts and pieces that go in. So thank you so much to Jeff Engelstein and CRC Press. We're going to be giving away 2 signed copies, and this will be distributed. We'll announce the recipients on Monday. So if you are watching this in the recording, if you aren't here live with us tonight, we're still excited that you're here with the program, and you can fill in this raffle form as well.
Yeah, that link will be in the description of the video if the live chat isn't up yet. I know it takes a day or two for that to show up. So look in the description for that link to the raffle. But yeah, we're super excited about it. Thank you to Jeff and CRC Press for donating those copies. That's really, really sweet.
Such kind people.
Such kind people, just like everyone in this program.
Program vets. We love it.
Awesome. So I think now we are going to just give you a little idea of what our orientation is going to run through today. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to bring on some past participants, former mentees and former mentor, to let you know kind of what to expect from that side of the program.
After that, we're going to get into kind of the nuts and bolts of starting your mentorship. We know some of you have already had your first meeting, and other people are waiting until after orientation so that they feel a little more confident going into it. So we're going to set you up for success there.
Yes, we love seeing all your messages in the Discord. P.S. Plug for the Discord. If you haven't joined it yet, please join it. It's where we put a lot of announcements and things like that. But yeah, everyone posting about having their first meeting, being excited. It's wonderful. That's another thing. You could use the Discord for the meeting. We'll probably talk about that later. I'm rambling. But yeah, then we're going to go through beyond your mentorship, all the extra stuff that we have for you this time around. And some of you have been in the program before, so you'll recognize some of that. And we'll have some new stuff as well to talk about that we're excited to put together based on your feedback from everyone in the last session.
Thank you to everyone who filled out an exit survey. Some of the things that have come about are directly a response to that or the conversations had at the Discord wrap party at the end of last session. So anybody who has met us before knows that we just don't stop adding stuff to this program. So we look forward to your feedback at the end of this session so that this program will continue to be unscalable. Then we're going to cap out the night by talking about some advice and goals that past participants have to share. And we're going to do a little goal setting exercise to get you in the right framework to go forward with your mentorship. So we are going to, I believe, head into a chat.
Yeah.
We'll start out with some
mentees,
some previous mentees from our past session, some truly lovely folks.
Absolutely. We've got Anna and Raquel, aka Razzle Dazzle, and let's bring them up on the screen.
Hey.
Welcome, folks.
Hey guys. How's it going? Hey, good to see everyone.
It's a party.
It's a party.
Be like twice as skinny now.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's gonna be fine.
How are y'all doing tonight or today? I don't know where your time zones are actually.
Tonight, and I'm doing pretty well. Razzle. So yeah, we're East Coast people, U.S. East Coast. So tonight I am actually really pumped to be here and so excited. So I'm good.
Wonderful. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, we were, you both emailed us about, your experience in the mentorship, and we thought it was the perfect experience to share with other people because it wasn't typical, but it was still very successful, and you got a lot out of it. And we really wanted to showcase sort of what the different types of experiences you can have in the program are. And yours especially, I mean, you're a pair, which is really interesting. We don't have that many pairs. I think we have 2 this session that are pairs of mentees, which is always fun. It's fun to see like people working on the same project. But yeah, so thank you so much for coming. We're going to turn it over to you now, if you don't mind, just kind of talking about your experience, what you hoped to achieve when you entered, what you did achieve, any kind of challenges that you overcame, things like that. And the program at large, how helpful was it? All that extra stuff that goes on, the speaker series, the Q&As, the roundtables. I'm rambling right now.
Yeah, we'll let them get to it.
We'll let you ramble, all right? All right,
No worries. So Anna, do you want me to start or?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Raquel, sometimes Razzle, sometimes Frazzle. Depends on how things are going in the whole process of things, but usually everyone can just call me Razzle. Anna and I actually started our game in the middle of the pandemic. It kind of just happened organically, and we were newbies. We really weren't sure how to make a game, and we were reading about it. We joined all of the social media pages, which is how we found the Tabletop Mentorship program. And we were like, this is divine intervention. So we couldn't actually, I think, believe at first that this was real. We're like, is this real? She's like, yeah,
I was being scammed, to be correct. This is too good to be true. And turns out that's exactly what it is. A lot of really valuable information that was taken away from this program. A lot of really great people. And just learning the different aspects of building a game. You have a bunch of different moving parts. You have the marketing, you have the game testing, you have, or play testing, you have
the design.
Yep, design, all these different things. And so now, you get to meet so many different people through this mentorship and get to take little pieces of like gems away. And it's been really, really great.
So when we first started, it's a 3-month program, as you guys know. Mike and Grace were so helpful. They said, you want to set some goals, be realistic about what your goals are. Is your goal to create a game and just make something fun that you can play in your circle? Or is your goal to do a Kickstarter? Is your goal to, eventually get on to like some e-commerce websites? Or what exactly is that goal? And so when we started, we very naively thought that we were ready to do a Kickstarter. So that was our number one goal, was we are doing a Kickstarter.
In like 3 months. Yeah.
And
Definitely did not happen. I would look at Razzle and be like, this isn't happening.
panic.
Yeah. And then the, pandemic and everything, it's rough. There's, it could be turbulent at times. But then we got our mentor when we were matched up. She was amazing in guiding us. Go ahead, Raz.
So the day that we got our mentor and we did a little research and we were like, okay, like she's legit, she knows her things. We actually paced around the house before we had our first meeting with her, anxiously like, oh, we're gonna meet her and we're so excited. But having the mentorship program and having a mentor, especially when you're new and you've never done this before, it's critical. It's actually something that you need. Like, people need this. And because
objective view.
What's that?
An objective view, a different perspective, someone who's been in the industry for a little while.
Exactly. So that was exciting, obviously for us, and I'm sure for everybody. That's like the big reveal. And we kind of took a different trajectory from what we had originally planned. Even though our goal was a Kickstarter, we realized there were so many other steps that needed to happen. And if you want to tell
everyone how Shari guided us and what those steps were, Anna.
Yeah. So marketing was one of the big things. She said she's not a marketer, but that's one of the jobs that we have to take on in order for this to become anything, if as far as what you imagine it to be. If you're looking for getting into a big retail, conglomerate like Target or what have you, Walmart, you have to be prepared for the fact that they have shelf space and it's only limited to, whoever is known more, and they'll take a chance on you. So the marketing is super important. And then she would just start suggesting certain things, certain ideas, and we realized that our game had a lot more work than we initially thought, and that we have to push back our Kickstarter date because it wasn't realistic. And that's one of the things that we have to learn, or had to be aware of during this, is that sometimes we have something in our heads and we want it actualized so much, but also having the opportunity to think about it, have another perspective. Like I said previously, that was a big thing, and she guided us. Was there something else you wanted to say about that?
So yeah, the other thing that I thought was really interesting is it's so, like, in the beginning when we first created this game, it's so easy to get attached to your ideas and the design and the way the game plays out. And I personally struggled with that a little bit. And I'm like, well, I think this idea is really great and I really like it and I don't want to change it because I think it's amazing. But until you actually play test, you don't know how other people are going to react to it, because you might have a concept or idea in your head of how it's going to go, but you don't really know until you actually try it. So, and Shari kind of taught us that too. She's like, you really have to, every time you change, even if it's just one thing, you want to test it, because that one little thing can really greatly vary, the dynamics of your game.
Yep. So one thing that also was interesting is that at a certain point during the mentorship, our mentor got sick. And we had to be prepared to not hear from her for a little while because she was figuring out her own thing. And so that was a little bit of like it was interesting having to deal with that, but we knew that we had to keep pushing forward because we wanted to show her that we were resilient and have something to present to her when she did come back, and that was also a little bit of a learning lesson, just being ready for the unexpected, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think so. Actually, that's with life, right? Like life happens, and we're all living here in a pandemic and doing the best we can. And there's been a range of emotions, and we're all just kind of trying to work together and figure it out. And games make people happy, and they make people think, and they help. As game creators and designers, you get to be creative, and I feel like it's something that people need, like, more now than ever. So we had to push forward, even though there was a little bit of a, we were like, oh man, we were so excited. We actually thought we were going to get to meet her in person, but, pandemic and life and everything like that. But she came back, and we are so happy to say that we actually are continuing that relationship even after the mentorship program, which is really, really special.
Super special, super honored. So you never know what can happen. And, it really is a great program, and we're so grateful to have been a part of it. Yeah.
So, I was just going to say, Mike and Grace.
That was a perfect cue.
That is a perfect sum up to what a wild run y'all had. And I'm so glad to hear that you're able to carry forward as well. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. That experience of, coming in gung ho, being like, we got our game, we got our Kickstarter plan, let's hit it. And then being like, yeah, that's not ready.
Yeah,
to work. Yeah.
It's so common.
It's so common. We get applications like that all the time. And, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. To anyone who's watching, who's a new mentee, and you come in with that same energy, that energy is awesome. All right. Take that energy and bring it to anything that comes at you, whether your game is ready and, hey, it's awesome. We can get started, or this might need some tweaking or whatever, whatever project it is. Life is going to throw you a curveball, like you said. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you guys. You guys are great.
Really absolutely. So we're going to bring on a former mentor in our program. Stick around, Anna and Razzle. We're going to do a Q&A with everybody after, okay? Right now, we're going to bring on T, who was a former mentor in our program, to talk about their experience. Hi, T.
Hello. Whoa. I can hear myself in many ways. That's fine. Hi. I'm also currently a mentor in the program as well.
That's right. Yeah. T is one of the rare few, not really rare, who signed up again.
Past, present, and future.
Past, present, and future, possibly.
We're never letting you go.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk a bit about your experience, we can kind of give you the floor in a second. So people have just been talking about their experience, what brought them into the program, what it was actually like being a mentor versus what you thought it might have been like going forward. And if you have any specific wisdom you'd like to impart to the new mentors who are watching.
So I got into the program because, so I've been in the game industry for, I think we're going on 9 years now, various stages of the industry, from content creation to social media management, freelance web development, freelance marketing support. Then I was a marketing director at a publisher, and now I'm currently head of games at Hobby USA, hence why giant stack of Hobba behind me. And so I have a lot of different experiences in a lot of very different areas in the industry. And so I don't know. I didn't get to where I was by being in an isolated bubble. A lot of people in the industry helped me and supported me and gave me a lot of super valuable information. And when I see other people coming into the industry and wanting to participate and add to the fantastic community that is board gaming, I wanted to help in a similar way. And this mentorship program, I saw a tweet about it and somebody was retweeting, and I was like, I'm going to apply to be a mentor. And I did, and I was matched with two people for my first mentorship thing, and we set up reoccurring meetings, and it was extremely enlightening. It became one of the things where meeting with my mentees almost became the highlight to my week or my day, because it was a part of my weekly schedule and interactions that it enabled me to help somebody in a way that I knew would help further their career or what it was that they were trying to achieve. And in addition to making me feel nice, warm, and fuzzy inside, it was really nice to see that I could add value to that relationship, and I could support them and help them. And so one of the reasons that I don't know, I wanted to continue it is because I got some really great feedback from my mentees about how they felt that I helped them in whatever ways that I helped them. And from my end, it ended up just being very similar to kind of what I was doing in my day-to-day life. So as a mentor, one of the things that I found really worked well for me, and seems to work well for the mentees that I've worked with, is I take a lot of notes. So my husband has listened, he's been in the room because it's a pandemic and our house is small, when I'm on some of these calls, and we've gotten off the phone and he's like, you kind of remind me of when when I have conversations with a therapist. But it's kind of, and now I thought about it, I'm like, oh, it's kind of similar, because really a lot of what you're doing as a mentor is you're listening to what it is the mentee is going through, what it is they're trying to achieve, what it is they want to reach, and then you're helping them shape and reach their goals. And sometimes that means you're helping them establish goals. Maybe they haven't thought necessarily of what it is they want to do exactly. So you help them shape and figure out what it could be in a time frame that makes sense. Maybe for that one mentoring session, 3 months, maybe it's a 6-month goal, something like that. And then you're setting clear, definable steps that are easy to benchmark to help them reach those goals. And then you're just helping them check in on those, really. And this last 10 months have been a very interesting 10 months for anybody trying to accomplish any goals. And so I think trying to add just a little bit of support and structure, especially right now, is one of the most helpful things that you can do for somebody that you are mentoring. Listening is super huge, and helping them reach what they want to do and helping them think about things in a different way, using industry experience to highlight why there might be issues in their approach, or give them key steps that you know will work either from personal professional experience or professional experience just from other people will help. But also just like Razzle and Anna we're talking about just kind of like realizing that people are people and it's human and there's a pandemic. So also being flexible and being able to adjust and work with people is super important. As for it's like I'm free-forming. It's really weird. I'm used to having somebody talk to me and stuff like that. So one of the things that I do is I often will, it's not bullet journaling, but it's sort of bullet journaling, and I'm not going to show you all, but I do have a notebook. This is I started this in March, and I'm March of 2020, and I'm here now. But I take notes every mentoring session. And when I take notes every mentoring session, I call out specific things, one, for me to just remember to re-reference on a session that might be coming in the future, because I am engaged and I am listening, but in a week or 2 weeks, I'm not going to remember every little thing we talked about. So before every session, I like to review my notes from a previous session. And when I'm taking notes during a session, I like to make little special call outs in my notebook as to things that I definitely will need to check up on for the next session. So for example, keeping this really vague, this mentee wanted to try something with their social media, a specific technique. And so I made a note that said, check in on technique for Instagram. And then I have a note on when our next scheduled meeting is. And so if I jump to that meeting, I can see one of the first things I ask is, did they actually do that? And the answer was they did not. And so I challenged them to try it for the following week in session. So little things like that can help with just the day-to-day mentoring and keeping track of things and using notes and everything like that. So different people are going to have different note-taking systems, right? But I find that as a mentor, if you're helping somebody, taking notes will definitely help you remember session to session what your mentees are trying to achieve. At the beginning session, when you're first establishing a relationship with them, make sure you have a very clear understanding of where they want to be at the end of the 3-month mentoring session. And then also potentially where do they want to be in 6 months, 12 months, right? And then kind of make sure you loop back to that every time you meet with them to make sure that you're still on track. The other thing I would say is if you need to highlight, use highlights. If you need to do callouts, do callouts. But always make sure you have your next meeting scheduled. This one really got me. I did get sick. I feel a lot of people got some sort of winter whatever, if not other things this year. So I did get sick at one point and I just couldn't meet. But whenever I did cancel a meeting, I made sure that I was not leaving a free floating date. I always wanted to make sure that my mentee knew there was a specific date that we were going to meet. And so that's either reoccurring meetings or just making very specific planned dates. And I would very specifically put them on my calendar when I was doing that. And so that helped me a lot as well. So that's one of the key things, I guess, I would offer. And if you're a mentee, I definitely recommend taking notes as well. Figuring out some sort of organizational system that works for you is super important. And feel free to try things, right? Mix it up. If notebooking doesn't work for you, maybe try like a Trello board or something like that. Like, see what works. Some people in the comments are talking about whiteboards. One person I was talking to recently was saying Post-it notes. So, figure out a system that works for you and don't be afraid to try different things. Somebody asked me, or there was a question previously, what it was like to actually be a mentor versus what I thought it would be like. And I think the biggest thing is, I guess I thought it would be a little bit more like, oh, let's just have coffee and it'll be chill. But it definitely became where I became very interested in what my mentees were working on and wanting to achieve. And so it became more than just coffee. Oh, I have to check in with them. It became I wonder how that's going. I should Google really quick to see if their stuff's doing well. Oh, cool. They're doing this on social media. So it really did surprise me kind of how engaged, I guess, I became and interested in that relationship almost at a friendship level. So yeah, and because of that, I'm actually continuing my mentoring from my 2 previous mentees. We are still continuing, but we're shifting to a bi-weekly session. So yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was anything else I was supposed to go over in this speech.
I think you nailed it. What incredible, actionable advice to all the detailed note taking. I love, everybody in the chat is I love taking notes. You are the right people for this program.
I take so many notes. Yeah.
A thick journal. Yeah. Well done.
This notebook, I started it March 2020, and I think I don't think I'll make it to March 2021. So yeah, but.
Yeah, it's too bad our mics were off because you would have heard just constant applause for the things you were saying. And I want to highlight one of them, which is the most important advice, and you nailed it perfectly, which is have your meeting scheduled. Every time you have a meeting, schedule the next one. Don't leave that floating date like you talked about. It's the number one reason why mentorships fall apart. And they do, some do fall apart in this program. And it's, we can only do so much. It is as structured as you make it. So really the onus is on the mentorship partners to keep that contract going, make sure that you have those meetings scheduled.
Yeah. It's one of the things with being the mentor and the mentee is as a mentor, you're in a position of, you're supposed to be the one with the more experience and to help provide guidance. And I don't say this in kind of like a belittling way, but you're kind of the adult in the room, like in that relationship. And so you're in charge of maintaining that relationship, and you have to put a little bit more work into it. And so it's one of those things, like, I was sick and I was miserable, but I definitely made sure that my mentees knew what was up. And they were super great. They were like, no, we don't have to meet. No, we'll figure it out. And I was like, no, we're not going to meet, but I need to know when we're going to meet next. Like, we need to do this. So, Robert, actually, I just want to point out, Robert in the chat asked, how public are our projects with our mentors? I mean, what can I share publicly via social media? And I think the answer is that's between you and your mentor.
Yep.
100%. My mentees, my new mentees, I've met one of them today, and my other ones I will meet later. I haven't had that discussion yet, but I know right now it's still on the DL. My previous mentees, one of my relationships is private. We haven't disclosed on social media anything, projects, my involvement, anything. Another one of my relationships is more public, and he has mentioned and thanked me. So it entirely depends on what the mentee wants, what the mentor wants. It's a relationship, and it's a conversation that you'll just have to have. So yeah.
So I think that's a perfect lead into more questions. So if you are in the chat, and we are excited that there are so many people here, and you have a question that you would like to ask either T or Anna, go ahead and throw it in the chat. And Mike and I are going to talk more through the technical aspects of the program later. So if you have questions about like how parts of the program work, you can save those. But this is a really great opportunity to hear from people who have lived the experience of it. And if you have fears or concerns, or just want to know more about their experience based on the stories they shared, go ahead and throw those in the chat, and we will pop them up so we can get more wisdom from people who have lived it. Because the interesting thing to me about this program is that Mike and I, because we're running it, don't get to be mentors or mentees. So the biggest experiences we haven't gotten to have through the structure of this program. So this kind of wisdom is invaluable.
It really is. It really is. I just wanted to say about the privacy thing. With our mentor, we weren't sure at first, and we wanted to make sure that they were, after a couple of times of like talking, to each other, a couple of exchanges, we brought the question up, and they're like, oh yeah, no problem, but you just do need to respect people's privacy, and
Absolutely.
Everyone's different, so.
Yeah, super important.
It's always good to assume privacy until you've had the discussion as well.
Right. We've got a question here from Brian, who wants to know, and this is for both of you. So what is a good question that you have asked as a mentee or been asked as a mentor?
T? Nope.
I mean, I have my favorite question to ask my mentees.
Hey, go with that.
So my favorite question, and it's the biggest question I can think of to start the relationship, but it's, what is it about the thing that you are trying to accomplish that you absolutely love, and what do you want to still be doing within that project or whatever within 6 months? Like, what is your dream pie in the sky goal in 6 months? Depending on what the project is, right? It might be 12 months. It might be, that kind of thing. But that's kind of one of my biggest, that's my favorite question. It tells a lot, and it shows a lot. And with a lot of the mentees that answer it, they will also, when they answer it, kind of ramble a little and give away some of their insecurities as well, which can really help you highlight and figure out areas to like focus on to help them achieve goals as well, to achieve so that they continue doing what they love, or they can thrive with what they love. So
that's a great point. I think when our mentor asked us, for example, our games, she's like, do you want to continue to just make more games? Do you want to make more cards? Like, what do you see happening in the end? What's your end game? And I think a lot of people are like, well, I just want to create a game, or I've had this idea or this vision, or I want to be, an illustrator, or I want to be A, B, or C, graphic designer, what have you. And it's important to make those goals. So, that's a great point. And I know that even though Razzle is not here, she is responding in the chat, and she said, what can we do to make the game better and more appealing? That was a question. And then also replayability was a big point that came up during our session, our mentorship. She also says hi. But replayability was a really big thing, because you think that, just because you play it a couple times and you really enjoy it, is it going to be good enough, or have a long shelf life? I think that was one of the big things that we had to go over. So that's that.
Excellent. So along that line of kind of setting your expectations, we have a question from Amanda that is, what is one important thing every mentee should ask or make clear with their mentor?
I definitely, the schedule thing was a big thing. That was huge. Good point. Another thing is, be comfortable and don't be afraid to ask questions. They, depending on where they are and what have you, they have a lot of valuable information. So just pick their brain about every certain facet of, either the design, the stories, even retail, whatever section that you're going for, or like you need more information on. Don't be afraid to ask. That wasn't exactly clear, but as long as you're open to it, and you're building a relationship. So as long as you're open to it and you're comfortable, don't be afraid to ask them anything.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing, so schedule is super important. Being comfortable to ask your mentor anything is super important. The other thing is if you do have a specific boundary area that is a difficult thing for you, or you just don't want to go near with a 10-foot pole, express that to your mentor. Maybe you have schedule situations, or you have something going on in your life that will impact your workload and your ability to react quickly, or something like that. And it might be very important to let your mentor know, it might be hard for me to accomplish stuff because of this situation happening, but at the same time, you should feel comfortable letting your mentor know, hey, this situation's happening. I don't want to talk about it. Don't ask me about it. But just so you know, this is why I may be off my game. And you can even say, I may be off my game because of something happening that I'm not going to tell you about. So trying to be as open as you can with your mentor is super important, but please make sure you maintain your boundaries in a way that make you feel comfortable and safe, because it is an important part. It is a relationship, and being communicative is important, but also being communicative about what your boundaries are is extremely important. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move along to Jamie Flez has a question. They were a mentee once and now a mentor. Thanks, Jamie. Pulling from memory, meaning number one is usually just socializing and getting to know each other, and then setting the goal at the end. Yes. So what are your first meeting tips? I mean, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but is there anything else you wanted to mention about that?
Okay, I'll jump in. I'm not sure. One of the first meeting tips was don't be afraid to just completely be blown away by just something unexpected. You're meeting a different person, and they're probably amazing, and they have some great ideas, and just don't be intimidated of being blown in a completely different direction that might set you up later on for who knows what, but something good. So yeah, that's one thing I would say as a mentee or mentor. Yeah, mentee.
For the first meeting, socialization is really important. Establishing, it's almost like a first date. You got the hello, this is me. Hi, this is you, right? What is it that you want to achieve and work on? In my opinion, the first session, from the mentor standpoint, is a lot of listening. A lot of listening, a lot of potentially heavy questions or pointed questions. You really want to try and establish an idea of what is the goal and what's happening and what's the current, lay of the land and that kind of thing. So for me, the first session is just lots of questions, lots of listening. My first session with my new mentee today, I have 2.5 pages of notes, lots of highlighting, lots of things to look at. And then we actually, in this first session, we weren't able to establish a goal, but I have some really clear ideas and I have next steps for next week. And one of that was, and then we have a meeting for next week, and that's kind of where we are with the first session. But every mentor and every mentee is going to be a different thing. So definitely socializing, getting to know each other a little bit, and then establishing at least the next meeting, if not some reoccurring schedule or whatnot. So that's usually what I would recommend for the first meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. We have a question here from Kennedy. Do you have any regrets? What's your biggest regret about past experiences? What would you do differently that they can probably learn from?
That's a very big question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So I have my own little philosophy about regret. You try not to, just because it's all kind of a learning lesson, right? But let's say you did feel some sort of way about something. I don't think I could regret anything, but one of the things, being prepared for is just the reality of some of these goals that you might have. I don't regret pushing myself as hard as I did because I wanted to succeed so bad at this one goal, but being humble enough to just say, it's okay, we're going to move forward, and you're still going to have that goal, but we're going to move forward and, change it a little bit, and just learning that. I wouldn't say regret anything.
No, that's a great point. It is important to remember that as a mentee and to some extent as a mentor, you're here to learn something, right? Be open about what ideas you come in with and be open to those changing. Be kind of malleable in what you're bringing to the program, and you'll get a ton out of it that way. That's a great answer.
Yeah, I agree with it wholeheartedly. I was sitting here trying to think of a specific regret, and I just don't.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's the biggest thing is you can make mistakes, but owning those mistakes and learning from those mistakes and moving forward is more important than regretting them. So it's one of those where, yeah. I mean, I have regrets in business decisions, but I learned from them. So in the end, it worked out. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Flow like water.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have a question here, and this could be for honestly anybody in the world. Do you find that imposter syndrome ever goes away?
No, not at all. Never, ever. I was asked last year to be the keynote speaker for NunPub, which is a digital prototyping playtesting convention that happened last weekend. And I said, yeah, that's weird, but okay, yeah, sure. Okay. And then I think a month before the event happened, I texted them in a panic, and I was like, you picked the wrong person. I can't do that. I don't know why you did that. That was a bad decision. And so they were like, cool. It's a little late. And so we pivoted and turned it into a panel, and I was a lot happier and more comfortable with that. And it was really funny because after I had texted them a week later, I was doing a thing, and I was on a call, and somebody was asking for my advice, and I was rambling off advice to do this really expensive deal with business industry. And I was like, oh yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. Oh well. So it still happens constantly. The best thing that I can say is that the bouts of imposter syndrome get fewer and fewer and more far between. Mm-hmm. If that was it. So it never goes away, but it does get better. Yeah,
easier to manage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And those those experiences you share, all of us have had those, and we deal with them in our own way. But you're totally right.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna go a little more lightning roundy as we go through some of the next couple of questions, if that's all right with y'all. Yeah. So Shireen wants to know, what's the best way to prepare for a session to use that time wisely?
If you have notes from a previous session, review those right before, so you know what tasks you were supposed to accomplish or what they might bring up or talk to you about. Also, having a key hit list of like what you've accomplished since the last meeting is also a great way to start. Just boom, 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 boom. Also, if you have any specific issues, ready to go with questions is always good.
The notes. I would say, your mentor is giving a certain allotment of time to meet with you and give advice. So it's good to not waste that opportunity, that exchange. So be ready for, your bullet points of, this is an update, or this is what we were doing. Here's a crash course, and then this is an update of what we've accomplished since we last spoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100% what needs to happen. Raz and I became sticklers about the notes. You want to make sure you don't leave anything out. You also want to make sure that you let them know if something happened. If something's going on in your life, your world, or whatever that didn't, that kind of limited you to, getting whatever you wanted to accomplish for that week or 2 weeks, time. That's super important. Razzle is telling me about the fact that we have sticky notes and whiteboards and cork boards all over our house. And we are constantly trying to make sure that we have like a good, clear structure of what we're doing. Try to give yourself short-term goals, to like lead up to a long-term goal, but make sure that you go over that with your mentor and be prepared for that every week. Is super important.
Great.
Awesome. Peter wants to know, I have a few games in various prototype stages. Is it better to go into this with just one in mind, or is that something to work out with the mentor? And this could apply to really anything if you have several projects at once that you want to work on. How do you choose? Do you even choose? What advice would you have for Peter here?
I would say work with the mentor, because it depends on what when you say various games in prototype stages, that could be, this one is at a prototype stage, one iteration away from Kickstarter, or it could be, this one's in a prototype stage and I scribbled it down yesterday. Like, it could be anywhere in between. Your mentor will help you pick those through and maybe pick one or two, or maybe three, or whatever, or an entire process flow to help you like iterate through them all, to get to where you say you have one that's like at a place to go at the end of the session. It really depends on your goals for those and what you have, what stage they're in. So your mentor can help you a lot more with that, figure that out.
Yeah, I would say definitely agree with that. Razzle saying it, depends on people's work styles. Maybe they have multiple things going on. Maybe, that kind of works for them. But also maybe, figuring out what you want to get out of this program. Do you want each and every single one to make it to Kickstarter at the same time? Or do you want to learn a certain part that would apply across all of them? I think that, you can also generalize it a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's important to keep in mind, this is a 3-month program, right? What can you reasonably accomplish in 3 months? Is it that one game to get it that much further ahead? Or can you get all 6 games that much further ahead, right? Just keep the time frame in mind as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
There's some good questions over here. I'm trying not to get distracted by the good questions.
Do we have any other? Are there other questions here? I don't know if we see them.
I saw one above Peter's. Heather Newton says, I think this is back in relation to the first conversation talk. they say, my guess is that it's helpful we got it, to talk through motivation, affordability, style. For example, do you want your feet held to the fire or more gentle cushions? Definitely, yes. That is something I talk about with my mentees, is what kind of work process do they generally prefer? What kind of encouragement are they looking for, or what kind of accountability are they looking for from me? Do they want me to like ping them every day? I'm not going to do that. But is that what they thrive under, or they prefer more of a loose thing? So that's definitely a great question or discussion to have with your mentee or mentor. So yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, what's this?
Oh, sorry, Anna, did you want to answer?
No. That was actually perfect. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fine.
So London wants to know if we can recommend 5 Twitter accounts we should be following.
Maybe we can round robin this if everybody has a
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. I mean, the goals are so different, right? I mean,
yeah, that's why I'm like, the goals are so different.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the answer really is, well, I mean, for me anyway, I would say, what's your field, and find the people who are doing, the work in that field that you want to sort of emulate. And then follow some new people in that field that you don't know. Search out those the other members of your community, essentially, right? I mean, our Discord is a good way to do that, to find other people who are like-minded, who want to enter into a mentorship. I mean, really, this community is so nice, and this one especially, because this kind of person that a mentorship attracts, right, is someone that wants to help. So people there want to help you out. So I would definitely recommend going to that for those kinds of questions as well.
Yeah. If you have a Twitter account that you're already following and you feel really like, yeah, I like what they're throwing down, Twitter, if you open up that person's profile, Twitter usually will say like followed by or recommended by. And so you'll start to see there's some overlap niches within every part of the industry. There's like a little cluster of like awesome game design people, and then there's like a little cluster of like content creators, and then there's clusters of like social media people. So it really just depends on what area you're talking about, but Twitter is actually pretty decent. And you can kind of just also if you look at somebody's page and you're like, should I follow them, you can see Twitter will tell you who you might already be following that is following that person, and that will help you figure out maybe this person does make sense. There's some great stuff that people are throwing in the YouTube. Cardboard Edison is great for board game stuff. Cardboard Republic is also great. So much. There's a lot of designers. This is a lot of designers and publisher stuff, which makes sense. That's fine.
There's a lot of designers in our mentorship program, so it makes sense.
There we go.
Sorry, continue.
No. That's it.
Raz is mentioning Facebook pages were super helpful. That's kind of, you follow different groups. She was mentioning Board Game Design Lab, Board Game Revolution community as well. But like what was previously mentioned, I think following whatever your style is and finding the greats or the commonalities of those different groups is like super important, and that's a great way to discover it. And yeah, there's a lot of great names in the group or in the chat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to go ahead and close this out with one last question, and that is from Overnight Games, who wants to know, what are some ways we can rein ourselves in and not throw too much at a mentor?
Be aware of their time and also be specific. Try to, once again, having that goal in mind, and just trying to figure out certain ways in order to accomplish it, really directs the focus in every meeting. That's one of the biggest things I think I took away from this, is just knowing that your mentor is helping you out, and to be respectful, and you're going to get a lot of great information. You ask the right questions, and this is a growing learning lesson. It's a growing experience. So just be prepared. It's a fun ride. It's a fun ride.
Yeah. I will echo the be prepared. If you have specific questions or things that you want to talk about going into a session, that helps a lot. When I go into a session, I try to always, like I said, look back at the notes of the previous session so I can have some ideas of what I should be following up on already. But it's a lot faster if you as a mentee, you already know I'm going to follow up on these things potentially. So if you jump into that, or maybe you tried something and it didn't work and you're going to do this other thing, and just being able to kind of quickly go through, this is what I did last week, this is what I want to do, I have questions about, maybe you can help me. That really helps. So having some idea of what you want to talk about in a session is really great. Throughout the week or before your next session, if you have a random question and you're like, oh, I should ask that, write it down someplace. Maybe make some place in your house or your notebook or someplace where you have an area of those like random, I should ask that questions. Because sometimes if it's 10 minutes before your meeting, you'll sit there and you'll go, what was I going to ask? So, just scribble stuff down, have a consistent place to do it, or just take a couple minutes before every session to just kind of like really try and focus your thoughts on what it is you want to get out of that week's session.
Yeah, I like to bounce around between notebooks, but with the mentorship, I found that it was better if I had one just designated for just those notes. So you can find it a lot faster. That's another thing.
Yeah.
What ADD, so.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I have different notebooks for different things. But like this is my game industry notebook. So I have like bookmarks and different ways to categorize them. I use pens a lot, highlighters. Yeah. Anyway.
Colorful stuff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all, and Razzle, who is with us in text, for being here. Right, in spirit and in chat. For giving our new mentees and mentors a glimpse into what it's like. I mean, honestly, it's a little bit more than a glimpse. It was a full experience. I feel like I'm ready to be a mentor or mentee. But really, thank you so much. This was really, really helpful. We're so happy that you could be here to answer these questions and give everyone such insight and set them up for success.
Yeah, and we're so grateful that you're part of the program as well.
Thank you for running and managing the program and taking everybody's forms and then doing that thing where you have to pair people up. That is the part that I am like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm very thankful that you do that and you handle that. So thank you very much for making this program and enabling us all to connect.
Oh, of course.
We're happy to do it.
My imposter syndrome also will not allow me to take credit for much, but I will absolutely take credit for doing a 1,000-piece puzzle with 1,000 side puzzle pieces.
Time zones, everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, oh, sorry. Were you going to say something?
No. I was just saying thank you guys so much. Oh. This program has changed my life. It was amazing.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, if people wanted to, find out more about you, what links can they find? What's your socials and all that good stuff? If people wanted to find you.
Well, our game is called Does It Matter? So we are going to be launching our social and our website soon, but it'll be doesitmattergame.com. It's not up yet, but we're in the design phases and we'll be launching very soon. But you can basically, any handle is Does It Matter Game. You'll find us. So,
awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then I am the one tar kind of everywhere. So I'm most prominent on Twitter. I just changed my name to that. So I'm the one tar on Twitter. I am on Instagram, but I don't post there anymore because I just get sucked into Instagram. All the pretty board games. I can't walk away. And the dogs. I ended up following a lot of dog Instagram accounts too. So you can find me on Twitter there. I am maybe most known for my random rants about industry insights and then also board game thoughts. So there you go. But yeah.
They are wonderful board game thoughts. Awesome.
Well, thank you all so much. And we're going to keep moving forward with orientation here. So thank you all, T, Anna, and Razzle. And
Razzle says bye. Thank you guys so much for bringing me on.
Yeah, of course. All right, so we're going to switch back over to our fancy slideshow.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was such invaluable perspective, and we're going to kind of pull from that as we move forward into looking at the rest of the program. So, yes.
Yeah. Before we move on to this, I definitely have been reading the chat. I know a lot of people are saying, let's make a Discord channel for everyone's socials. That's a great idea. We'll do that right after this. I promise. Run to Discord and throw all your social stuff in there. So just wanted to mention that.
Also, if you go on Twitter, I have been working on the list of people from this session. So I think there's about 100 people in it. That's from the mentees. I haven't gotten to the mentors yet, but so you can also follow or just look at that fantastic list if you are a Twitter person. All right. So now that you've heard how some people have had their mentorships go, we're going to talk through getting started with meeting with your partner. Now, I know a lot of you have already had your first meeting and some of you are just ramping up for it, but just to kind of go over the big picture here, you are expected to meet twice a month at a minimum, and each meeting should last at least 30 minutes. You will probably find that 30 minutes is really short and over very quickly, and most people tend to talk for longer. But 30 minutes is a great goal, and sometimes it is good to have that ahead of you if you're just nervous or you're trying to work through that small talk. You'll eventually get to a point where you're more comfortable and able to make more meaningful progress in that time. And as a mentor, you really can guide how those 30 minutes go. So asking pointed questions is a great way to carry the conversation forward. And be sure to do voice or video if you both are able. That's something you want to discuss right from the beginning. Some people are not able to do voice or video chat for a variety of reasons. You want to make sure that you are meeting in an accessible way that everybody can get the most out of. So just check in with each other. We do encourage voice or video if it's possible, but we know that's not a reality for everyone. So make sure that you've had that conversation with your partner.
Absolutely. Yeah. We saw someone in the chat earlier who said they just met with their mentor and they're going to do text because that's what's going to work best for both of them.
Perfect.
So that's absolutely fine if that's the best choice. Awesome.
So we talked a little bit about this earlier, if my slide will switch. Yeah. Oh, I just went too far. There we go. Meeting twice a month is non-negotiable. And we say this because in looking at exit surveys, it is the fastest way to tell if a person had a good experience in the mentorship or if they had a disappointing one, is to look at how many times they met. And consistently, the people who have dropped off after 3 meetings or so have had a worse experience. And it's very, very easy for those meetings to get away from you. You heard T talking about how important it is to have the next meeting scheduled at the end of the current meeting. And if you have to change it, that's okay. There's a lot of life going on. Being flexible is absolutely necessary. It's not even encouraged. It's just something you're going to have to do. But being flexible can still come with a plan, which is we can't meet on Thursday like we had planned, but can we meet next week or can we set another time so that we have a plan moving forward? And I would also say that sometimes as you set a goal for your next meeting, especially as a mentee, you might not reach it by the next meeting. So if you said, I'm going to play test this game and next meeting, we'll talk about how that play test went. If you don't manage to get that play test in, that's okay, but don't cancel your next meeting. Mm-hmm. It is totally okay to have a conversation about why that play test didn't happen, or if it just couldn't for time reasons or things like that, you can talk about other things. You can have an academic discussion. You can talk about, other ideas for the game, work through your feelings, play a board game together and talk about that experience. You can get creative with it, but try not to cancel just because you're concerned that you haven't gotten done the things that you wanted before that meeting.
Yeah. Don't worry about disappointing your mentor or even your mentee by not meeting that goal, because the most disappointing thing is just not showing up, right? Definitely go there because you're going to accomplish something, right? Even if it's just to talk about why you didn't meet the goal, and then work on that. That's totally fine.
Yeah, we related it to therapy earlier.
Right.
And that is not an untoward comparison. Sometimes you need to talk about, hey, imposter syndrome got the better of me this week. And I just didn't feel like I was worthy of working on this game or coming to this mentorship meeting, and addressing that can be more valuable than doing the play testing or the working on the graphic design, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I want to say something here about communication while we're talking about it, which is that, you know, if you get an email from your partner and maybe it's a little bit heavier or it takes more work to respond to it than maybe some of your others, and you kind of let it slide and let it go, that is not going to feel so great to your partner. You know, we get a lot of feedback during the mentorship session. It's like, I haven't heard from my partner in a week. I hope they're okay. You know, things like that. So if you are finding that you are struggling to respond to things fully, just send a quick message to say that, you know, like, oh, I'm super busy right now, but I will get to this. I see your message and I see you, and I will get to it when I can. You know, that is totally fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah. I haven't forgotten you. It's sometimes just a reassuring response. Anxiety is a big thing for me. And so if you have an email that's keeping you hanging, sometimes it's really nice to just know I haven't been forgotten about. So in this moment, I'm going to challenge anybody who has an email that they haven't responded to from their mentor or mentee. If you have the space right now, if you're here at orientation, go and open up that email and just send them a quick response that says, I will respond to you when I'm able. But let them know that you are still invested and you are still excited for this opportunity, if you can.
So at your first meeting, we heard a ton of great advice from T, Anna, and Razzle. And really, the first part is get to know each other, right? This is a relationship. It's a 3-month-long relationship you're going to have with somebody. So the first thing you want to do is get to know them, socialize. What's your life like? What are your interests? You know, what is your experience? What do we have in common? And then it's important to also talk about mentoring style. Some people, you know, would. And we asked you that on your survey, you know, are you more of a cheerleader or would you rather have someone that challenges you, right? So talk about that because it's so important to tell someone that, hey, you know, as a mentee, I'm working on my thing. And what would help me the best is for you to just cheer me on every once in a while, you know, just let me know that I'm doing a good job, right? I need you to be that for me. And the only person that knows that is you, right? Your mentor has their own style and they can provide what they know, but it's a partnership, right? So you have to let them know what you need. It's all about communication, letting each person know what the other person needs so they can provide that.
Being clear on your projects and goals is also an important part of that. It can be easy sometimes to steer towards the direction the other person naturally wants to go, right? As a mentee, you may say, well, my mentor is really not into Kickstarter, so maybe I'll pursue the other options, even if your heart is set on a Kickstarter. You get to honor your own instincts and what you want to get out of this as well. And same on the mentor side. You may think you know exactly how this game would be so much better and you want to share your wisdom and experience, but if a mentee doesn't want to go that route, you have to respect that as well. So knowing what someone's project and goals are from the beginning is really useful. If someone is just trying to make a game for fun that they want to play with their friends, then advice about publication is not going to be useful. They're not going to be worried about, oh, this game has too many components, because they're just going to make it at home and then play it 100 times with their family. So making sure that those expectations are clear from the beginning is going to set you up for so much more success and so much more fun along the way.
Absolutely. So for your mentors out there, some key mentoring skills. You know, this might be the first time you're in a mentoring position. And these are 4 things that really help prepare you for that relationship and set you up for success. So listening actively, you heard T talk about that. You know, the first session, they said they listened more than anything, right? Asking probing questions and just listening. And that leads into building that trust, right? You want to make sure that you're someone that your mentee feels comfortable going to with their ideas, their hopes, their fears. You know, your mentee might be probably looking for something like that. That's exactly what the mentorship is all about. So you want to be able to build trust, and it's a 2-way street, right? The more trust you have with your mentee, the more that they will feel comfortable with you, and the better their project is going to be, the better their goals are going to be, the better they are going to be in the mentorship, right? So it's all about that. Determining goals and building capacity. Do you want to speak about this?
So some of this we've already talked about, setting the appropriate goals and then setting yourself up to work up to them. What kind of skills do you need to build them to get to those end goals? What can you do along the way that will lead you to that path? So checking back in on that goal throughout the mentorship, reevaluating it, changing it as necessary, and building the steps to get you there. And then being encouraging and inspiring. That's such a key. You want to make sure that there is positive energy around this. This isn't something that people should dread. This is what people are spending their free time on. For most people in this program, this is not their full-time job. This is something they're doing because they love it and they want to spend their time doing it. So keep that energy up, be encouraging, remind them that they're doing a good job on both sides. Mentors need to hear that too, that they've inspired you, or that you just really enjoy these sessions with them. So be encouraging, inspiring all around is such a powerful thing. And then the one thing I want to add to this list that's not there is setting boundaries. It is awesome that a lot of people come out of these mentorships as fast new friends or even collaborators, but there is a power dynamic here where, we heard earlier about the mentor kind of being the adult sometimes. There is a distinct power exchange there where the mentor has more power in this relationship than the mentee. And it's important that both parties set appropriate boundaries for what you can and can't handle and what you are and aren't interested in doing or talking about. So make sure that you've set those boundaries and don't be afraid to enforce them. If you are in a situation that makes you uncomfortable or unsafe, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but do not continue to engage in something that makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe.
Absolutely.
Creative uncomfortability is good, where you're pushing yourself a little outside your comfort zone, but anything that's like actually challenging you,
right?
Be aware of your boundaries.
Right. So on that note, staying safe and healthy. We have a code of conduct, which everyone agreed to when they applied for the program. That if you don't remember what it is and you want to look it up again, it's on our website in the About Us section. There's a link to the code of conduct as well as an anonymous reporting form. So, and this could be for anything really. If you see anything in the program or you yourself are feeling unsafe or been harassed or anything like that, we have an anonymous reporting form that we get emails about as soon as someone fills it out, and we take immediate action. And if you want to follow up with us about it or make it more personal, you can email us at any time, tabletopmentorshipprogram@gmail.com if you have any concerns or questions.
Yeah, and that is program wide. So whether it's something that happened in your personal mentorship or if it's something you see happening on Discord or on our Twitter, if you see anything, whether it involves you or not, that you're concerned about, let us know. We want everybody to be as safe in this program as possible, and we'll do what we need to. We will enforce the code of conduct, and we are happy to support you in the right choices. So these are just a couple of other mental health resources. This is a really emotional commitment that you've stepped into. It's scary to talk to a stranger, to be personal about your dreams and your goals, to share your creative work with someone and take feedback. Those sorts of things are really intimidating. So we have on our website, and our website is tabletopmentorship.org. In our creative resources page, we have, I think Mike's going to drop the link in the chat for that. A couple of resources, and these are just two of them what I wanted to share with you. One is the Games and Online Harassment Hotline, which is a text message support line for people in the United States. You can see the times that they are open there, and you can text that number at any time. This isn't something we're affiliated with. It's just a really good resource. So if you're dealing with harassment with games, with anything you're working on kind of creatively, they're a support line that will understand a bit more what you're working on. And then Take This is another lovely nerd-friendly, game-friendly resource. They have international resources on their website that includes international hotlines, crisis lines, and a lot of videos and resources for mental health. So please do what you can to protect yourself. Again, this can be a really emotional journey, and it can be more intense than people expect when they start out. So we just want to make sure that you know that there are resources out there and that we support you, and that we want to do whatever we can to help you out and help you have a good experience in this program.
So what if it doesn't work out, right? We heard, we get this all the time, and especially when the pandemic hit during that session, we did get a lot of messages that just kind of messed everything up. And again, sometimes this is through no fault of anyone's own. Life stuff gets in the way, and sometimes we just have to end a mentorship for one reason or another. If it is something interpersonal, examine why that's not working, and talk to your partner if you can. If those are the boundaries that you would set up that are not being followed, or if it's a difference in mentoring styles. Maybe
they're pushing you too hard.
Yeah, maybe they're pushing you too hard.
You just want somebody to tell you you're awesome.
Yeah.
Then you have to check in with them and say, hey, I really wish you'd just tell me that I'm awesome and not challenge me or push me so hard because it's making me feel bad about what I'm working on.
Right. And if it's go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, well, and if you can't talk to your partner about it, please contact us. Okay, that's big and bold there. We can't help if we don't know about it. Like Grace said earlier, we can't be mentors or mentees in this program we're running, so we don't know what it's like. And when we don't get emails about stuff, we kind of assume it's going great, or at least okay. The only way we know that there's any problems is if you tell us, right? So reach out to us through email, Discord. Grace and I are both admins on there, so you could privately message us there as well. Twitter as well. There's a few different ways you can get a hold of us.
Yeah. So I know this section is a little heavy and it makes it sound maybe more intense than it will be for you, but we just want to make sure we've kind of covered the gamut of experiences there, because it can be really disappointing if you find out that your mentorship isn't lining up for whatever reason, or if your mentor has to leave partway through, or if you have to, personal circumstances come up. And so we just want to reassure you as well that we're glad you're in this program. We're excited that you're here and you deserve to be here. Imposter syndrome is a monster, and it's hard not to listen to it and not to let that take the lead. But please know that you are matched with your partner because we think that you're a good fit for each other. And if that doesn't work out, we understand. But know that there's not like someone better waiting in the wings where if you drop out of the program, the perfect person is going to slide in and have a dream mentorship. No, this is your spot. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. But it is there for you to make what you want out of it.
Absolutely. And I'm noting the chat here. Some people are wondering about what goals mentors could have. The goal, why someone would sign up for a mentor. If you're a mentor who's watching this, feel free to write that in the chat. But I know from our exit surveys and stuff people have told us is that a goal as a mentor could just be, I want to make sure I know what I know. A lot of people, one of the things they love about being a mentor is that it shores up their own knowledge, right? You have learned all this stuff through your years of work. What better way to solidify that than by passing that on to someone else, right? Watching it work for them. It's like, oh, I do kind of know what I'm doing. A goal could be to get over imposter syndrome, right? It could be as simple as that.
Yeah, a goal could be to make regular meetings, if you're a person who has trouble with scheduling. So being accountable to someone can be a great goal. Sometimes as a mentor, you have an opportunity to see yourself in a new light, to respect yourself as a person who knows what they're talking about, as an expert. A goal could be to feel more confident in talking to other people about my work or about these ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and someone also mentioned, I'm curious what artists might have as goals in this mentorship. So it's one thing I do want to stress here is that, this program is not just game designers, even though that is the bulk of sort of the tabletop community at large, right? It's the lowest barrier to entry, right? Can you roll some dice? Well, you can probably make a game, right? Can you draw? Oh, I certainly can't, right? So that kind of classes me off from that. But this program is multidisciplinary. So the people in the Discord come from not only all walks of life, but all walks of discipline, right? We've had translators, artists, content creators, all that stuff in the program.
Manufacturers.
Oh yeah, distribution. It's so important to get to know the tabletop program or tabletop community as a whole, right? If you only ever view it through one lens, you're going to have a lesser sort of experience with the whole thing, right? So there are a lot of people in this program from other walks of life. So if you do have questions about that kind of stuff, feel free to throw them in the Discord. There's definitely going to be people there who will see it.
So for art goals, some that I know I've seen in the past are to put my portfolio together, to complete a certain number of pieces, to start art for the first time for a board game, whether it's somebody's prototype or your own prototype, to send pieces out to companies to try and get work. Those are just a couple of the ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, mentors, these goals are great. We see them all in the chat. These are so good. So thank you so much.
We're so glad you're all in this program. You are
absolutely.
such cool people.
All right, we're going to move along here. Beyond your mentorship. All right. So this is, we're going to get into some fun stuff here. So there's lots of ways to learn, right? The mentorship program is more than just your mentorship. And we have put some stuff in place to help you all learn and grow your field of knowledge here. So first and foremost, our microgrants.
So microgrants are $100 in USD that we give to underrepresented creators in the community. These are given out every month. We give out 3 every month at a minimum. This month, there are actually 6 being given out, 3 to people in any discipline and 3 to content creators specifically, thanks to some generous donations. The applications for this are always open, so it's just good to keep in the back of your mind if you're an underrepresented creator or if you know some people who could use $100, you can put this money towards anything, whether it's supplies or printing costs or childcare or con registration or just covering your rent so you have more time to focus on game design. I mean, obviously, I don't think $100 covers anyone's rent, but you get the idea. You can use it for whatever you need. So just know that that resource is always there for you should you need it. Now into specific stuff. We have a speaker series. This is a set of videos that we put out each session, starting last session, made in collaboration with the Tabletop Network and New Voices in Gaming. We're so thrilled to be partnered with them. We have a really exciting series lined up for this session. You should have seen the schedule in your welcome packet, but you'll see some incredible names on that list. Senfeng Lim, Emma Larkins, Amaria Kill, Danny Quach, and Luna, who is Aspie Gamer Girl, are just some of the people that are in that fantastic lineup. The first from the speaker series is coming up next Sunday, February 13th, right before Valentine's Day. Kathleen Mercury is presenting an at-home game design workshop. One of the feedback pieces we got last time was people wanted more game design content. Go figure. But this will be a really fun one for anybody, whether you're a game designer or not. We're going to design 3 games individually, everybody all at once, in a delightful flurry of chaos. You can see just a little teaser of the component list of what we'll be working with. So this is going to be a really fun, interactive hour.
Yeah, I was a part of this at Tabletop Network the last time they had an in-person convention there, and it was so fantastic. It was so great, and it doesn't matter who you are, what stage of game design that you're in right now, whatever your journey is, you got to attend this workshop. It's so good. So screenshot this. Grab those components and get ready for Sunday. It's going to be amazing.
It's not Sunday. Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Sarah, in the chat.
Thank you.
It is Saturday. So they used to all be on Sunday, and then we were like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. So my bad. That should be Saturday, February 13th.
So screenshot this and then white that out and then write in Saturday. Sorry about that.
Oh, good catch, though.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
It takes a village.
That's right. So
Saturday.
February 13th. And then roundtable discussions. This is something we started last session. It went so great, and we're going to do it again. It's going to be during the second month of your mentorship, so March 20th and 27th. Those are both confirmed Saturdays. What it is, it's a chance to have small group discussions on interesting topics related to all kinds of stuff in the tabletop hobby, game design, art, content creation. Basically, when mentors signed up, they opted in to give a roundtable discussion. So it's going to be multidisciplinary, and it's going to be all day during those 2 Saturdays in March, the 20th and the 27th.
Yeah.
More info about that is going to come out soon. I think in about a week or two. We'll send out the signups for it essentially. So hopefully you'll give us your top choices, and we'll place you in the ones that make sense.
Yeah, and those dates are different from the welcome packet. That's not an accident. We just got way more interest in roundtables than we were expecting, so we kind of had to expand the scope of that. It is a great place, though, to find more in-depth discussion. So some of you in specialty disciplines like art, or we don't have as many tabletop RPG folk here. This is kind of a good space for people to have intimate discussions on your specialties. So next up, we're going to be talking about socials, which we do on Discord. And, do you have something?
Hold on. Sorry. Before we get to this.
Are we wrong again?
No. We're totally right.
Okay.
I just want to mention Kirsten from New Zealand says New Zealand doesn't have pennies. Kirsten, find some tokens. Just draw Lincoln's face on them. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so socials on Discord. Yeah, this is something that was started by the community. We're so happy that this is a thing. It's basically a chance during the weekend to hang out with other members, meet them, talk about projects. Make some friends. This is a community, and this mentorship program is a really friendly one.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel alone, so come make some friends.
That's right. So we're going to bring on Robin, who is so kind. They led all of the socials last session and is going to continue to do so this session. And Robin is also a mentee here, so they're going to talk for a little bit right now. We're going to bring Robin on. Hey, Robin.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this starting back up again. And
awesome.
So, okay, so I can dig right in if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I should say who I am. Mike already said a little bit, but I'm a former mentee. Last session was my first time, and I dug right into it. I loved it. By the way, all the stuff that they've been saying, advice, it's listen to all of it. It's especially the taking notes. I also recommend taking notes on who you meet and what they do. It helps. Anyway, I immediately saw a community here, and so when I heard about socials, I volunteered to be there, because one thing is that we have channels for this, and no one wants to be the first person in an empty channel. So I tried to be there just in case only one or two people showed up, and often I had some really great conversations with just one other person, and then other times there were like 6 or 8. So anyway, the purpose of the socials is, well, you see, I personally think tabletop gamers are just like really great, friendly people. Dice Tower Convention advertises the friendliest conventions in the world, and personally, I think they have an unfair advantage just by having tabletop gamers as their clientele, because you can't have a tabletop game without friends. Not everybody's extroverted, but most of us like other people. The socials are there just as much community building as just plain having fun, just being able to enjoy yourselves. You can use it for networking and feedback if you want. You might get play testers. That's not the exclusive purpose, but it can happen. And really, it can be used for whatever you want. On that note, who can come? First, anyone, if you're on the Discord, that means that you can come. And I want to encourage mentors to come this time. I understand you're really busy, especially if you're taking on multiple mentees, but just want you to know that you're welcome, and we like talking with you if you have time. Past and future participants can come. Again, anyone on the Discord. There are certainly a lot of people on the Discord who plan to be apply to the program, but are probably going to do it next time or something. So I'm going to be running these multiple times a week. Before I came, they had 2, but then I had a request from some people in the New Zealanders who are their time zones way off, so I added another session. I'm not sure I really want to do 3 sessions a week. Again, I'd rather figure out a time zone that's good for multiple people, because sometimes if you're far enough away, then you just go around the horn and you're in a good time zone, a good time for someone in a totally different time zone. I would like to take feedback. You can find me on the Discord, Robin with a Y, Robin Unfred, and it was up on the screen there. It is right now. So just anytime, either in the social or just send me a direct message. I'd love for you to tell me about what would what it would take to make it more convenient for you to come, or to make. I haven't set the schedule yet, so if you send me a message within the next few days, you're going to have early priority. One thing that is new this time is, aside from the scheduling, is that Mike and I talked about it, and we want to set some topics. And it's not exactly like a round table. It's not supposed to be like a lecture or anything, but just as conversation starters. We're going to be having a social right after this orientation in the Discord. We'll announce which channel on the Discord. So if you that's just the orientation and starting off is going to be the first topic. But after that, I just want to have an organic weekly topic conversation starter, and don't have to stick to it, but it's somewhere to start. Okay, so if you send me a message, could you tell me your time zone, your preferred days and times, and please name more than one. And please tell me your time zone. Either you can name your preferred times in your time zone, or UTC, which is the same as GMT. And then how often you're likely to attend, because some people would like their preference known, but they don't think they're going to be able to come often, But if you want to come every week, then, just go ahead and say it. And that's about it. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. Since we're global, and there are people from New Zealand to Africa, to Great Britain, to America, the Americas, we have, it's hard for just one person to be there at times that are convenient for everyone. And I was getting up at sometimes like 5 a.m. to meet with people, and it was fun, but I kind of like someone else to fill in for me, because I'd often oversleep and miss and then feel bad about it. So if anyone else likes people and wants to just be there now and then, is just the lone wolf in the channel, ready to talk to anybody. That metaphor doesn't make sense, but just drop me a line anytime. And that's about it. I hope to see you after the orientation.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much. It's such a nice thing that we were able to carry the socials forward. I'm so glad you were so enthusiastic in taking it over and carrying it forward. So what a gift. We really appreciate you.
I've had some great conversations. I've enjoyed it a lot, even at 6 a.m. I'm enjoying myself. So I'm not a morning person, so that says something. Okay, I really appreciate your appreciation. So
absolutely. Okay. And if anyone wants to help out Robin with those time zones, I know, Robin, you're on the West Coast here in America. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Cool. So if anyone,
the further you are from that, that's probably even better. Or if you're night owl, who knows?
Right, exactly. Just drop Robin a line. They're going to organize all that. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And on that note, don't forget, after this orientation, which will be over very soon, I promise, we're gonna meet in the Discord and the social channels, so you can get a chance to chat with everyone that you've been chatting with in the YouTube here, and also meet us and ask us any questions that you might have as well. So wonderful. On that note, thank you so much, Robin. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
So we are going to scoot on through the rest of this lovely orientation here. We're just going to touch on some highlights of things that are new for this session. One is going to be a mentorship directory. This was something very requested from people in the past, and we're going to put this together really soon. So you'll probably see that link through Discord or your emails in the coming week. A document where you can list your expertise, and basically it'll just help you find people. So if you've had a great conversation with someone at a social, but you didn't get their information and you want to reach out to them again, this will be a place where you can find whatever information they've shared with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things we got feedback on was that, like, you might want help in areas A, B, C, and your mentors can help with B and C, but not A, right? So hopefully this will be a way that you can find someone with that experience that you can talk to about, whatever it is, game design, art, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Get your burning graphic design questions answered.
Absolutely. And then, so another thing that's new for this session is Tabletop Mentorship Stories. I'm super excited about this. This came actually directly out of one of our wrap-up parties in the last session. I believe it was Richard Day who suggested this, and it was so smart. So this is a community blog for mentorship participants to share stories about their journey. And I'm going to throw that link into the chat. You'll notice that it has one lone introductory post from us inviting people to the blog. But basically, what we want is, if you would like to contribute to this, send us your email and we'll invite you to the blog. You're going to need a Google account to do this. But all of this information is captured in this video that I made, which I'm going to throw into the chat as well to get set up. But essentially, this is a place for you to blog about your journey as a mentor or a mentee or just in the program in general.
As a creator, with whatever you're working on.
Absolutely. You may or may not have your own blog set up on your own website, but this is a nice collection of everyone in the program and what they're working on. So if you want to know what everyone's working on, come to this blog. And if you want to share that, write for it. Anybody can do this. Just let us know that you're interested and we'll get you all set up.
We're so excited to get you going. So this is just a quick announcement. We're going to do a speed pitching event. This one's going to be invitation only for people who in their application had talked about being ready to pitch their game to publishers. So we'll be reaching out to people about that soon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a test event. It's the first time we've done this, which is why it's a little smaller and a little under the radar, just so we can see how it works. But we're excited to bring that to the table. And we're going to have some community-led events, we hope. This is where we are turning it all over to you. So the socials happened because a member of the program said, I think that would be cool to have. I want to be able to meet people. And every feedback session since, we've heard people want more ways to meet each other. And even in the chat, I saw somebody suggesting art drawing dates. So this is the kind of thing we want you all to run with. And we want you to know that you have permission and our encouragement to organize this stuff through our group, through the Discord, reach out to the community there and create things. So if you want to have a Tuesday night discussion group, schedule it. We'll create channels for it. We'll help promote it. Just let us know. We know people are interested in playtesting nights, but we are just at capacity ourselves and can't organize that. So if somebody wants to run regular playtesting events through the mentorship program, please go for it. And if you have any other idea, like drawing dates or anything fun, you can let us know, or you can just go straight forward in the Discord and say, here's my idea, who's interested, and you all can go for it.
Absolutely. And that Discord is the communities, right? We manage it, but if you, like Grace said, if you want to add some channels to it or a category for your event that's within the mentorship world, please let us know. We can do that for you. It's totally great.
Yeah.
Cool.
All righty. So we're just going to run through these really quickly. We have a lot of advice in the welcome packet. It's going to echo a lot of this, but this is just about setting yourself up for success. This is more advice from past participants. So from mentees in previous sessions, some of the top bits of advice are to make a schedule and stick with it, to learn as much as possible and not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and to set realistic goals and work regularly towards them. Take your time developing your goals. Be super critical and detailed on specific actions to accomplish one or more goals during the 3-month process. Remember to be flexible and give grace when it is needed, but remain focused on each step until the goal is achieved. Ask for help always and be humble and honest throughout the mentorship, and you will do really well. Some wise words from a past participant.
Absolutely. And number one piece of advice for mentees, do not be afraid to ask questions. Your mentor is here because they want to help you. That's right. And then for mentors, figure out what your mentor needs, not what they what you think they need. Be prepared for how much work it is, how exhausting it can be, and how much of it is emotional work. And keep an open mind. Ask questions, never assume anything, right? This is advice from people who were in the program previously. Remember to give advice and guidance, but not do things for them directly. Provide those resources, but not finished products. Connect them to people you know. People also work at their own pace and follow the thing most interesting to them. Don't be disappointed if they decided to take a long weekend with family instead of making a sell sheet, but do reschedule meetings if there's nothing to discuss yet. And our favorite advice from mentors: listen carefully to your mentees. I think T was very successful in hammering that home. Yeah.
Cool. So just a couple of quick notes on setting effective goals. I have actually written a whole blog on how to achieve effective goals, and they are on our mentoring resources page on the website, which also has a bunch of blogs from other mentorship programs and videos and things you can watch. So if you're feeling nervous going into the mentorship, even still after orientation, there's a bunch of resources from very professional people you can explore. But there's also a less professional blog from me about goal setting. But some top headlines from it are to think about what's achievable in 3 months. This program is probably not long enough for you to finish your game and launch your Kickstarter at the same time. You're going to have to narrow it down and be a little specific, which is why be as specific as possible is encouraged. Having multiple goals is great, and it allows you to have something to turn to if one of your dreams isn't achievable. You know, if you came in with a drawing goal and you injure your hand, you're going to have to pivot to something else. So having another goal ready and waiting is wonderful. Everybody talked already about how important taking notes is, so write it down and track it, and just be flexible. All progress is good progress.
Absolutely.
So we had a little goal setting exercise here. We're just going to leave the slide up for a second, but this is also in your welcome packet. There's a lovely sheet that you can actually type directly in. So you could print it out and handwrite on it. You could just make your own notes, but it's a really good way to make your goals more clear to yourself. It's easy to think, well, I know what I want to get out of this, and I feel good about it, but it's another thing to really set a few minutes of intention and write those goals down and think about what challenges you might come up against and set yourself up for success by thinking how you would handle those and think about how you'll feel when you've accomplished your goal.
Absolutely. So much happens from brain to pen, right?
It's just like prototyping your game, right? You have everything in your brain and it works perfectly. And then the first time you set it down on the table, you're like, wait, what do I even do? This is not playable.
That's perfect.
So
awesome.
So we wish you all the best. You can find more resources on our website, tabletopmentorship.org. Seriously, there's a lot on that website. Again, if you are looking for more stuff to supplement, check out the creator resources page. There's a lot that'll connect you to other groups, good resources for diversity consultants and mental health resources and all sorts of things to help you on your journey.
Absolutely. And we want to thank, as we end here, we want to thank all the people who made this mentorship possible. Tabletop Network and New Voices in Gaming for sponsoring our speaker series. Couldn't have done that without them. Much thanks to all our Patreon supporters, especially Curtis Fry and Angela Belsel. Thank you so much.
Couldn't do it without you.
Couldn't do it without you. So on that note, join us for our first social.
It's all happening.
That's right. Right as we log off of this, we're going to head over to the Discord. We'll just meet in the social voice channel. I wonder if people are already there. But yeah, we're going to kind of, if you're having trouble with Discord even, we'll kind of take you through it, a little bit of a tour of how to use each part of it. And then we get to chat. You can ask us questions and we'll all be super friends.
Yeah, super friends. It's the best way to be. Thank you so much. We know this orientation was a little long, but there's so much useful information. And really after this, unless you're at the speaker series, you probably won't see us much. And sometimes it's nice to feel like you have a personal connection, like you know who we are. We're not just these faceless voids sending you too many emails.
Yes.
But we really are excited that you're here. We want you to have so much fun. And to make this program your own, we want you to feel like anything that you want to do, you can do here. So if there's any way we can help you with that, please reach out to us at any time for any reason. We're always here to answer your emails. So thank you to our brand new super friends and to everybody who's watching the recording of this. If you're available on Sunday at noon Eastern, we'll be doing another social so everybody can gather and talk. Even if you've watched this in your own time, make sure you filled out that raffle form.
That's right.
And we'll see you in Discord.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great mentorship.